Welcome to another episode of Black Atlas Goings On. My name is Kenny, aka Black Atlas, and today we are doing another roasting on the spit roaster. So, last time, hopefully you checked out the previous video from a few weeks ago, was an alligator. Today, we're going to be doing a whole suckling pig. So right now, we're going to go ahead and get our brine together. We have the water over here. We have about 2 gallons of water. Actually, it's about 1.5 gallons. And then there is a cup of vinegar in there as well. And so we're going to go ahead and get that turned on. And then we have all of our ingredients over here. So once that's turned on, I'll go over all of these. All right, that water is on. So this is my seasoning that I put together after I smoked a few seasonings and then got some other seasonings together. This is my pork rub that I have. And then I have some cumin, some garlic and herb, some buttery steakhouse, cup of sugar, cup of pink Himalayan salt. Then I have my herbs, which are rosemary, chives, thyme, and oregano. And then I have my onions, my peppers, which I have an orange and red pepper, and then just a regular white onion. Then I have my citrus, which is my oranges, my lemons, my limes. And then I have my sliced apples. I have a Granny Smith green apple and a Red Delicious apple. And then I have a little marinade that I mixed up that I'm just going to throw in the water and the brine. So that is heating up. I'm going to go ahead and throw in my herbs. I'm going to go ahead and throw in my salt and sugar so that way it has time to dissolve as it's heating up. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get a spoon and get that stirred. I'm going to go ahead and throw in my marinades. And this is a mojito lime and citrus marinade. Throw my cumin in there. This is smoked cumin, by the way, that I actually smoked. I'm going to throw some of my pork rub in there. The reason I have this out is because tomorrow when I do the pig, this is going to be my main seasoning that I'm going to use. But I will put about 1/2 cup into the brine. I'm going to go ahead and put my garlic and herb and then my buttery steakhouse in there. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab a couple tablespoons of actual crushed garlic and put in there as well. And before I throw the rest of my aromatics in, I'm going to go ahead and throw some butter. Now that's heating up, so I'm going to go ahead and stir all of that up before I get these in there. All right, let's go ahead and get the peppers and onions in there. Let's go ahead and get the citrus in there. Oh, it smells amazing. And last but not least, let's go ahead and get the apples in there. And after that, we're just going to bring it up to a simmer and get it into the cooler. And I will show you the pig because I need to take it out of the cooler and take it out of the plastic bag that it comes in when you first get them. So I will show you that. Then we will go ahead and get the brine and the ice in the cooler and then let it cool for a few minutes and then get the pig in there. And then we'll see you tomorrow. But we still have a little bit of time before that. So let's get these apples in there. Okay, so now we're going to let that come up to a simmer. And then we're going to go ahead and get it in the cooler with the ice. And then get the pig in there. So I'll see y'all in a couple minutes. Okay, so the brine is ready. So we are going to go ahead and get the pig out of the cooler. and then we are going to get it unwrapped and have it sitting right here. And then we're going to get the brine in the cooler and so forth and so on. Okay, so this is a 22-pound suckling pig. I got this from Wahoo Meat Locker here in Nebraska. So we are going to go ahead and get the brine poured into the cooler, and then we're going to get the ice in there to cool it down, wait a few minutes, and then we're going to go ahead and get the pig in there to brine overnight. So let's go ahead and get these in there. And now that will stay in there for 24 hours, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Okay, so welcome back to day 2 of the pig roast. Technically, it is day 3 for me. I was in a car accident yesterday and was very sore. So that just meant I left the pig in the brine for another night. And that just imparts more flavor. Yeah, the more you know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get the pig pulled out and put on this table right now. Then we're going to go ahead and dry the skin off as much as possible. Then we're going to get it oiled. And then we're going to get it seasoned. And we'll go from there. I'll take you step by step. But the first thing is I'm going to go ahead and glove up and get the pig out of the cooler onto the table. And like I said, this pig is a 22-pound pig from Wahoo Meat Locker in Wahoo, Nebraska. Some of the apple slices that went into the brine. Cavity is opened all the way up from the roots to the toots. And so let's go ahead and get this dried off as much as possible, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so we got the pig all dried off. So what we are going to do next is we are going to go ahead and get this rub. This is a wet rub that I made that we're going to use to spread on the inside before we put our aromatics, our fruits, and our vegetables in there, and before we get it sewn up. So let me grab some gloves one more time. As you can tell, I like wearing gloves. I don't like getting my hands messy. So we're going to grab some gloves and get this rub put on the inside, and maybe we'll do a little bit on the outside as well. All right, the inside is done. We got the fruits and vegetables, but the first thing we are going to do to make this as easy as possible is we are going to go ahead and get the shaft put through the pig, so that way that is already in there. So once the pig is done, it can just slide right off. Action. Okay, so we have our spit roaster shaft, so we are going to go ahead and put this through the pig before we start seasoning the inside. Actually, you know what? We are going to go ahead and season the inside first and then put the shaft on. This is some of that pork seasoning mix. That's mine. And this is a big piece of meat, so season very liberally. Now let's go ahead and get this put through. Action. All right, so we have the pig secured. The only thing I'm going to have to do is bind up the legs when it's going on the spit roaster. But right now we have seasoning and we have our wet rub inside of the pig. So we're going to start layering these flavors with our scallions and our fruits and vegetables. So I got apples, Granny Smith and Red Delicious. Then I got a white onion, and then I have some of the red pepper and orange pepper, bell peppers that I'm going to put in there. Some thyme, oregano, and let's see what else. Oh, some lemons, limes, and oranges. So I'm going to go ahead and get this stuffed. And then after it's stuffed and it's about time for me to go ahead and sew it up, I will bring you in to check it out. Action. Okay, so I have it all stuffed, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and get it sewn up so that way it doesn't fall out once it is rotating on the spit roaster. And then what I'll do is I'll show you what I'll do to the skin to get it nice and bronze color and nice and crispy. So let me go ahead and get these holes dug, and then go ahead and get this sewn up and all secured on there, and I'll see y'all in a few. Okay, so a little trick that I seen in a few videos was, I think it was from Japan, where they were roasting the pigs and they were putting soy sauce on there to help get it nice and crispy. So the first layer I'm going to do is I am going to go ahead and brush a thin layer of soy sauce on there, and then get some of the rub that I had, the wet rub, and put on there. So once it is time to get it on the spit roaster, I will bring you back before I turn the spit roaster on. So I'll see you in a bit. Action. Okay, so we have the soy sauce on there. We're going to get a little bit more of this rub on there as well. Well, we're going to get the last of the rub on there. It's got garlic and all kinds of good stuff in there. So we are going to go ahead and get that done and just slather it over. Get all of that goodness on there. Wish you could smell this. It smells absolutely amazing and delicious. Action. Okay, so the next step to take here is going to be to get the coals set up for the rotisserie. So I will go ahead and get you facing the rotisserie, and then we will go from there. Action. Okay, the pig is all seasoned and the rub is on there. So what we are doing is we are going to go ahead and get this started. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my chimney and grab some of the charcoal, my little fire starters, and a long match. And we are going to go ahead and get these coals started and set up. Action. Okay, so what I am going to do now, like I said, I got some coals in the actual roaster itself. These are coals that have not been lit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and grab a couple tumbleweeds and sit on this middle grate right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and put my chimney with some more charcoal in there on top of it to get that lit and get this whole process started. And then we'll see y'all in a few when it's time to put the pig on. Okay, so the coals are heated up. So what I am going to do is I'm going to go ahead and grab my heat-proof gloves and get them dumped out in here. And then we will start working on getting this pig on this roaster. Action. One thing that I forgot to mention, while these coals are lighting up, I do have my wood chunks sitting in water for a few minutes so they don't just burn right up. They give it some smoke flavor. All right, so my next step that I'm going to do here is, before I get this on the spit roaster, I am going to go ahead and get the Chef IQ thermometers put in so I can set the temp, and we can go from there. And here we are, my Chef IQ thermometers. So I am going to go ahead and not use that one. I'm going to put number 1 in the back and number 2 up front. Throw this big old ham back here. Throw this in the shoulder up here. Okay, Now, let's go ahead and get these wood chunks thrown on there to start to generate some smoke. And then after that, we're going to get the piggy pig on there. Action. Okay, so we got the wood chunks on there. The smoke and heat is going, so it is only time for the coup de grace. I don't know if I said that right. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. But let's go ahead and get the pig on the spit roaster. Action. Okay, so I have the pig on the spit roaster. It is going good and it is looking and smelling delicious. So I need to cut that jowl skin off that keeps flopping around. But other than that, I got my thermometers in there and I got the pig on there pretty secure. It's going to start tightening up as it gets hot. And so I will be spritzing it to keep the skin nice and crispy every couple hours or so. So I will see y'all back in a little while when it's more close to being done. Why was this in my hamper? Okay, so this is what the pig looks like right now. I'll bring you in a second, a little bit closer up so you can see it. But it is right now currently reading at, I have a temperature probe in the front and a temperature probe in the back. So currently, the temperature probe number one, which is in the back, is reading at 130. And temperature probe number two, which is up in the front, is reading at 171. So they will start to even out in a little bit. And I am going to start throwing some coals on there and some wood chunks so that way we can get the smoke factor in there and also to crisp up that skin. So I will see you when it is about time to pull this off. Action. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now, the pig is done and it needs time to rest. And so I'm going to go ahead and turn off the spit roaster. And then I'm going to get these nuts and bolts unscrewed to get this pig off of here. And then end up putting it on this pan. Well, not necessarily in that order, but I'm going to get it put on this pan and then covered for about a half an hour or so it can rest. Okay, I have the pig off of the spit roaster. Let's see if the skin is crispy. It is. Nice and crispy. So, let's go ahead and get all of these nuts and bolts off of here. And then I'll show it to you right before I get it wrapped up. Action. Okay, so now that the pig is off of the spit roaster, I'm going to go ahead and get it covered pretty much loosely for about a half an hour or so before I start carving into it and breaking it down. I did try a piece of the crunchy skin. I don't know if you heard it, but it was delicious. Okay, so the pig is off of the spit roaster. And so what we are going to do next is we are going to go ahead and get some of this meat pulled and put in different containers. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and glove up and get this taken care of. And then once we have it pulled, we will be right back with you so we can do a taste test. Okay, so now we have the pig flipped over. We have all of the butcher twine off. So we're going to have a couple people that are here come up and taste it on camera and see what they think. Who's first?
Jess is. It's really good.
Is it?
Really good.
You like it?
Mm-hmm.
All right, who's next?
That's fantastic.
Thanks. Anybody else? Nick? This guy always makes fun of me in our group chat because he says that I take too long to cook. It's still daylight here in Nebraska, and the food's done.
It's really good.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I guess I'll taste it now.
I got you.
It is really good. It's really good. Okay, that was the second time I have ever roasted a pig, and as you can see from the people that tasted it, it turned out good. So I think that might be something that I'm going to do maybe annually, especially here in Nebraska, because where I got it from, Wahoo Meat Locker, no, there's no affiliates there. I just like the place because last year when I got a pig, it was half the weight, but at the same price. So, anyway, with that being said, make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe, and I will comment right back to you. Since you took the time, I'll take the time. And until the next video, I'll catch y'all on the flip side.